That's it.
Stand up, Hadley.
And she's got a crazy story, by the way. All right, so let me actually back up so you could hear the beginning of her story. So you could then move fast forward.
Her incredibly powerful story. And in case you didn't see it, here's just a brief look.
Growing up, I was an all-American girl. Varsity soccer captain, cheerleading captain, homecoming queen, and survivor. I was raped by my stepfather after years of sexual abuse. At age 12, I took my first pregnancy test, and it was positive.
Terrible, obviously, right? So now we're getting ready, as you could have guessed, to talk about abortion and reproductive rights.
We are so impressed by your courage to stand up and share your story. Where did that come from, the strength to do this? Because I'm sure you thought long and hard before deciding to go public with your story.
When Roe v. Wade was overturned,
Thanks, everybody.
I woke up with a harsh reality of my abuse was over, but my story is not. And I just could not fathom thinking about the other Hadleys out there that don't have that choice, that don't have somebody to go to. So being able to find courage and be the light for them, that's really what I do it for.
And so what do you want to say to other people who are voting in this election regarding what happened to you and what that means?
You can't wait until it's too late to care about reproductive health care, because then it's too late. And when it affects you, it hits, and you can't deny it. You can't look at someone with a story like mine and say it didn't happen. And there are more people like me out there, and there are gonna be so many more who deserve their options. They deserve their choices. Let's get involved. We have someone who's willing to hear us at a level like never before. We have someone who wants to know what we want in this country. We have someone who wants to lift up our voice, and we need to show out and show up for her just like she's showing out and showing up for us.
All right. Is there something you wanted to say too?
So this is the problem that I have with this. This is the problem that I have with this, and I'm actually getting a text message that I got to respond to. Y'all know I got to respond to certain things in real time. It is what it is. Somebody watching the show. You know, it's all good. Next time, maybe wait till after the show to text it. But I understand you got your notes. You got your notes. I'll respond in real time. Cool. But I also want to address what I think they're doing with Hadley. They're talking about reproductive rights. And they're using her as an example of getting pregnant at 12 after she was raped. When we talk about abortions, everybody goes to these examples of abortion. Everybody goes to these examples, these rape abortions, these abortions that are supposedly justified. That's why they're bringing on Hadley on here. These abortions are not the majority of abortions. So why do they lead with them? If you have the percentage of abortions, let's say it's 1% of the abortions are based on situations like this. Why would you lead with that to justify the other 99% of the abortions that have absolutely nothing to do with rape? But this is what they do because they want to get us emotionally attached to these type of things and say, of course, abortion should be a choice. I mean, of course, abortion should be a choice. Look at Hadley's story. She was raped at 12 years old and got pregnant. Look at her story. Of course, we should be able to have abortions. It's not being honest with ourselves. It's completely disingenuous when they lead with this. They use the exception to try to prove the rule, to try to prove the majority. It's disgusting. If you really just believed in pro-choice, then why use the 1%? Why not just talk about the 99% of the people that get abortions and why they're getting abortions and just stand on it and say, hey, I should be able to get an abortion? But instead, you're trying to do exactly what Quee said, play on the emotions of people, show a super emotional story of Hadley, and she doesn't even realize how she's being used. I wouldn't be surprised if 20 years from now, she changes her stance completely, because that's what a lot of us do as we grow older and we think about abortions, even though a lot of us don't. But they're playing on emotions. And what IROC just said is exactly, I believe that that's 100% true. I hate that they call it reproductive health care. You aren't reproducing anything. You want to kill it. Let's just be honest. We're not talking about, just call it what it is. Nobody's going back and forth on the ability to reproduce. It's the ability to terminate. Just call it termination rights. You can put it in there. It's not reproductive. People can call it whatever they want. I would respect it more if you just call it what it is. But of course, they have to sugarcoat, use a different name like they do with a lot of these bills that I was talking about earlier, just to make it easier to digest for a lot of people to get on board. Because if they called it termination rights, people probably wouldn't be as open to pushing it. What did Queez write? That is their meal tickets, the abortion policy, and the emotion of a female voter. This is so shameful, so shameful. But let's keep going. Let's keep going, because there's a couple of things. Let's move on to Tracy Ellis Ross. It's Dak. Just want to thank you for checking out our video and visiting the OG Network. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure that you give us a like. And if you're looking to join a community of inspired individuals striving for purposeful abundance, subscribe. And if you're feeling real generous, share the video with some friends and family. All right, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.